Hello everyone, Cousin here, and in this video, I'm gonna be solving Wordle number 1295 and New York Times Hard Sudoku for January 4th, 2025. So let's get this video started with Wordle number 1295. I'm gonna start with the word minty. Alright, all the letters are grey. I thought that it would be interesting to start with this word, because I don't think I've started with minty before, but, none of those were gray. None of those were green. All of them were gray. So let's guess a whole different word. Um, for example, I can do space. Let's try that. Okay, got the A and E yellow. So these two letters go somewhere else in this word. It could easily be an EA double vowel, like yesterday. Yesterday's answer was cheap. Um, but of course it's not going to be today. I mean, it's still possible. Like double consonant. Yeah, I can try something like bread and see where this takes me. Okay, it's not EA double vowel, but I got the A placed. And then E might go second. R is also in this word. Now, R is not really that limited though. It could go first, third, or fifth. I'm seeing the word feral, so let's go with that. It's not the answer. Okay, L is also another letter which goes into this word. If L goes first, then R is forced to be last. I don't see a word like this, so probably I should put L as the third letter. What is this word? Oh, relax. Relax. I should relax. Um, yeah, got today's Wordle answer in 5 tries. So yeah, certainly did not think of actually putting an X into this word. So yeah, could not visualize the word relax. Yeah, again, I just would not think of putting an X into a word. Usually I use X to kind of fill out some missing and unknown letters. Um, I didn't expect the word to contain an X, so yeah. Um, yeah, finally got there. I don't think I used any elimination strategies, I just made my guesses based on the previous clues. And I've got to a point where I've eliminated enough wrong letters so that I can finally guess today's Wordle answer relax in 5 tries. Really need to relax these days, especially that, it's my exam week. Hopefully I do well. Um, Relaxation is very important. Hope you'll have enough relaxation as well. Um, yeah, New Year, 2025. Hope I can better relax. You as well? Um, yeah, finally got there. Got today's Wordle answer relax in 5 tries. This is Wordle number 1295. After I'm done with this, let's move on to New York Times Sudoku. Again, today is January 4th, 2025. Let's start the hard difficulty Sudoku for today. I see that these 9s point down, and these 9s point right. I also see that in column 9, this cell sees 9, and this cell also sees 9. So in column 9, the digit 9 is forced into one of these two cells, and now we've got a mini X-wing formed by the placement of 9s. As you can see in blocks 7 and 9, the digit 9 is either placed like this or the other way. And no matter how these 9s are resolved, in block 8, 9 cannot go into rows 8 and 9 whatsoever, because they see both of the 9s in blocks 7 and 9. So in block 8, I can eliminate 9 from the open cells in rows 8 and 9 because of the mini X-Wing by the 9s. So 9 is forced into row 7 in block 8, and this also sees 9. So in block 8, I can actually place 9 into this cell. Okay, another way to see this is just by looking at row 7. This cell sees 9, this cell sees 9, this cell sees 9, and this cell cannot contain 9, because in column 9, 9 is guaranteed into one of these two cells, and no matter which cell 9 ends up in, this cell sees both of them. So this cell, no matter what, cannot contain a 9. Otherwise, if this cell ends up a 9, then I can't place a 9 into column 9. Right, so I can't put a 9 into this cell, because 9 is in one of these two cells. It is forced here for the column. So this cell cannot contain 9. All of the other open cells in row 7 see another 9. So in row 7, the digit 9 is forced into this cell as the only cell available for 9 in the row. So there's multiple ways to see a perspective. So, yeah, different ways to see it, but you'll have the same result. So it depends on which one you want to use or which one you see first. So, yeah, multiple solve paths. Again, yeah, mini X-Wing formed by the placement of 9s in blocks 7 and 9, which eliminate 9 in the open cells which are in rows 8 and 9 in block 8. So you get the 9 placed here. And then these 9s force the digit 9 into this cell in block 5, and then these 9s point right. So we actually have the same thing going on here. Yeah, it's actually this 9 pointing right. So 9 goes into these cells, and they line up to force 9 into one of these two cells. But I just used the simpler method for explanation, which is by looking at the column. Okay, all of these 3s force the digit 3 into this cell in block 1. These 5s point up, and these 5s point left to force the digit 5 into this cell in block 4. This 5 points left, and this 5 points down. So in block 7, the digit 5 is forced into column 3, and then these 5s point up. Same thing going on with these 5s. Yeah, another mini X-Wing. In blocks 1 and 3, 5s are either placed like this or in the other way. And no matter which way 5s resolve in, the open cells in rows 1 and 3 in block 2 will see the 5s. So in block 2, 5 must go into row 2. It is forced. And this also sees 5, so I can place a 5 into this cell. Because it has to be in row 2, and this cell sees 5. So in block 2, 5 is forced into this cell. Of course, you can use the other method, which is just by looking at row 2. In row 2, 5 is a missing digit. This cell sees 5. This cell sees 5 from block 7. This cell sees 5. This cell sees 5, and this cell also sees another 5. So in row 2, the digit 5 is forced into this cell as the only cell available for 5 in this row. And then these 5s point down. This cell sees another 5. So yeah, 5 is forced into this cell. You can look at the row and place it, or you can spot the mini X-Wing formed by the placement of those 5s, which eliminate 5 from rows 1 and 3 from the open cells in block 2. Did I say that correctly? Yeah, in row... Wait. Yeah, in block 2, the open cells in rows 1 and 3 cannot contain 5, so they must be in row 2. Okay, this one points down, and this one points right. So in block 9, the digit 1 is forced into row 8, and then these ones force the digit 1 into this cell in block 8. Okay, so we have 1, 3, and 7 pointing into block 5. And these 3 digits are missing from block 5. So 1, 3, and 7 cannot go into these 3 cells because of the column. So where do these 3 digits go in block 5? Only these 3 cells. In order to fit all of these 3 digits into block 5, I have to make these 3 cells reserved for 1, 3, and 7. Because these 3 digits can only go into these 3 cells in block 5. So again, I have to make these 3 cells reserved for 1, 3, and 7 to fit all of them into block 5. So this 1, 3, 7 triple eliminates all other digits from these 3 cells. So this 1, 3, 7 triple makes the other 3 open cells in block 5 contain 2, 6, and 8. And they also make up a triple. But we have these 2 6s, forcing 6 into this cell. And then this cell sees 2, so 2 goes into the other cell, making the cell an 8. So this triple actually resolves immediately. Yeah, because 1, 3, 7 triple makes the other 3 cells 2, 6, 8 triple. But the given digits resolve it. So yeah. And then down here we have a 4, 5 pair for the column. And then down here, this 4, 5 pair makes the other 4 open cells in block 8 contain 3, 6, 7, and 8. 8 is forced into one of these 2 cells in row 9. 6 is forced into one of these 2 cells in column 5. I guess I can just mark down 3s and 7s. Okay, in block 2, 4 is forced into column 6, and 2 is forced into column 5. I can also just mark down 1 and 8, because they're the other missing digits of block 2. Yeah, let's do that. 1 is forced into one of these 3 cells, and 8 is forced into one of these 3 cells. Alright, so I've got all the markings in the middle 3 columns. In row 7, 4, 6, and 7 are the missing digits. 4, 6, 7. This cell sees 6, so it's 4, 7, 4, 6, 7. In column 1, 4, 5, 6, and 7 are the missing digits. This cell sees 5, 6, and 7. So it can only contain a 4. A naked single 4, so it must be a 4. For easier explanation, I'm just gonna do this. I'm gonna mark down all digits 1 through 9 in this cell and eliminate the one that this cell cannot contain one by one. So this cell sees 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So it sees, or cannot contain, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And it can only be a 4. In Sudoku, we cannot leave cells empty, so I have to fit a digit into every single cell. And if this cell can only contain 4, and cannot contain every other digit, well then it has to be a 4. If I don't put a 4 into this cell, it would end up being empty, and that's no good. So in order to avoid empty cells, I must make this a 4, because 4 is the only possible digit going into this cell. Okay, and then these 4s point right. So these two cells form a 4-9 pair. These 4s and 9s force both 4 and 9 into these two cells only. So in order to fit both 4 and 9 into block 6, I have to make these two cells reserved for 4 and 9. So this 4-9 pair eliminates all other digits from these two cells. Oh, sorry, I forgot to kind of clean up here. This cell cannot contain 3, this cell cannot contain 7. So this 4-9 pair also works for row 5. Oh, but I'm just gonna... Yeah, let's just focus on block 6 first. Now, this 1 points down, and 1 cannot go into the 4-9 pair. So in block 6, the digit 1 is forced into row 4, which eliminates 1 from this cell. Right? Let's go again. This 1 points down, 1 cannot go into the 4-9 pair. So in block 6, 1 is forced into row 4. So 1's being here eliminates 1 from this cell and forces 1 into column 5 in block 5. Now that 1 cannot go into this cell, in block 5, 1 must go into column 5, which points up eliminating 1 from these two cells. Because 1 here. 1 is here. So 1 being in column 5 in block 5, eliminate 1 from these two cells. With this one, the digit 1 in block 2 is forced into this cell, which also makes this a 2, this an 8, and this a 4. Yeah, because of the other givens. So wow, that actually collapsed quite quickly. So yeah, all because of the 4-9 pair and the immediate effects on the placement of 1. That's really nice. Okay, so these 8s force the digit 8 into this cell in block 8. Okay, in block 4, 1, 7, and 8 are the missing digits. Oh, this 7 points left to force 7 into this cell, which makes this 1, this a 3, and this a 7, which makes this a 3, leaving a 6, 7 pair in column 5. And then 1 and 8 are the missing digits of block 4, which makes this a 2, based on the markings. Of course, you can say that these 2's point right. So 2 is forced into this cell. And then row 4 has 1, 3, and 8 as the missing digits, but 8 is forced into this cell, and then this cell sees 3, so I can place 3 and 1 like this to complete this row. These 8s point left. In column 1, 5, 6, and 7 are the missing digits. This cell sees 6, and this cell sees 7. Okay, in row 2, the missing digits are 2, 6, 7, and 8. This cell sees 6, 7, and 8, so it can only be a 2. Again, for easier explanation, I'm just gonna do this. This cell sees 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Again, in Sudoku, we cannot leave cells empty, so I have to fit 1 digit into every single cell. And if this cell can only contain 2 and sees every other digit, well then I must make this a 2. If I don't, this cell would end up being empty. So I can't not contain a 2 in this cell. It must be a 2 to avoid empty cells. So yeah, 2 as the only possible digit into this cell has to go into this cell. And then these 2's points left, this cell sees another 2, so in block 1, the digit 2 is forced into this cell. These 2's point down, forming a 2-5 pair. And these 2's also point down. Does this 2-5 pair help? It does kind of help, because now, okay, well, of course, these 2's and 5's force both 2 and 5 into these two cells only. So in order to fit both 2 and 5 into block 7, I have to make these two cells reserved for 2 and 5. So this 2-5 pair eliminates all other digits from these two cells. It affects the column and the block. So in block 7, the other 4 open cells contain 4, 6, 7, and 9. This 7 points down, and 7 cannot go into the 2-5 pair. So in block 7, 7 is forced into one of these two cells, which are both in row 7. So that eliminates 7 from the cell. May as well mark down 4, 6, and 9. And for the column, this 2-5 pair makes the other 4 cells 1, 4, 7, and 8. This cell sees 1 and 4, so it's 7, 8. This cell sees 8, so it's 1, 4, 7 only. Okay, let's just fill out row 2. 6, 7, and 8 are the missing digits. This cell sees 8, so it's 6 or 7. This 7 or 8, and this cell sees 7, so it's 6 or 8. In row 1, 4, 5, and 6 are the missing digits. This cell is 4, 5, or 6, and this cell sees 5, so it's 4 or 6. Hmm. Oh, the column. Okay, in column 9, 4 and 9 are the missing digits. But I can place 1 in this cell in block 9, because all the 1s force 1 into this cell, which then places a 2 in this cell, because these 2's point down. So 2 here. This 4-9 pair, 4 being in one of these two cells eliminates 4 from this cell. So for row 7, 4 is forced into this cell, which makes this 6 and 7. Up here, 5 and 6, which makes this 4 and 5. Okay, I'm just placing digits based on the markings I've done. So yeah, um, as long as you do the markings correctly, you can follow them around, but make sure they are correct. Otherwise, you're gonna mess up. um, this cell sees 4, so it's 9 and 4 this way. 9 is forced into this cell. Down here, for column 7, we have a 3-7 pair. Okay, now 4 is eliminated from these two cells. This cell sees a 2, so I can make this 5, 2, 4, 5, 4, 9, 9, 6, 6, 7, 7, 3. Wow. The bottom 3 rows immediately collapsed. Really nice and satisfying. Okay, this cell sees 6, so it's 7, 6 this way. Which makes this 8 and 7. This cell sees 4, so 4 goes into this cell, and this Sudoku puzzle is complete. Alright, I finished today's New York Times Hard Sudoku in 18.5 minutes. So I would say this Sudoku puzzle is actually a bit more trickier than usual hard Sudokus on New York Times. So yeah, I'll go over the key spots as a quick summary. So there are quite a few mini X-Wings, such as those formed by the placement of 9 in blocks 7 and 9, as well as those formed by the placement of 5 in blocks 1 and 3. So yeah, the mini X-Wings forced 9s and 5 into the respective cells in block 8 and block 2 respectively. So yeah, of course, you could also look at the rows or columns. Uh, just by looking at row 7 and placing the 9, and row 2 and place the 5 there, led you to the same result of spotting the mini X-Wings. So, really depends on which one you want to use, or which one you see first. Um, but hopefully, through this video, and through the walkthrough solve, hope you understand the concept behind, and have no problem understanding it, hopefully. And of course, there were also other key pairs and triples, such as the 137 triple in block 5, the 137 triple in block 5, and the 4-9 pair in block 6. Because this 4-9 pair in block 6 forced 1 into row 4 in block 6, so that in return forced 1 into column 5 in block 5, and the majority of the middle 3 columns just resolved. So yeah. Um, Other pairs of triples like the 2-5 pair in um block 7, which also works for column 3, were of course useful to spot. Um, and there were also quite a few singles, some naked singles around, such as the naked single 4, the single 4 in block 4 at the intersection of row 6 and column 1, this 4, and the 2 in block 3 at the intersection of row 2 and column 9, this 2. So the 4 here and the 2 there were also singles. So yeah, these two cells saw every other digit apart from 4 and 2 respectively. So it could only be that digit to avoid empty cells. So yeah, um all of these different techniques um are useful to have in your hard Sudoku toolbox. So you can use them whenever you come across hard Sudokus and these situations. So hopefully, after watching this video, hopefully you can, you know, grab a clear concept and understand how to solve hard Sudokus efficiently. So yeah, I think I've gone over all the key spots as you saw. Um, it was definitely trickier. It was trickier than usual hard Sudokus. So yeah. Um, if you have any other questions or difficulties, feel free to leave them in the comments down below. And hope this video helped. Okay, so that's it. Today is January 4th, 2025. In this video, I've solved Wordle number 1295 and New York Times hard Sudoku for today. See you all next time. Bye!